Hello and welcome to another episode of Strider's GorillaSquadCast. Today, we have a special topic. Today, we're going to be discussing gaslighting, finding your tribe, and removing narcissists from your life, and identifying what a narcissist is. Now, a disclaimer, as I always say, I am certainly not a medical professional. I'm not licensed. I'm simply somebody who's experienced a lot of different types of personality disorders, not myself speaking, but with other people and their issues. And specifically narcissistic personality disorder, I've been exposed to a lot of people that have that. And I've done my research and I've been figuring out some things. And, well, I hope that what has been illuminating to me and freeing to me hopefully shall help you understand some situations a little bit better. So without further ado, let's get it. Now, narcissistic personality disorder by definition is essentially, well, not by definition, but to summarize it, is somebody who is deeply insecure and they project it into the world, and they often criticize others but cannot take criticism themselves, are hyper-judgmental, and are essentially people that will, if you allow them to, will disrespect every boundary you set, will devalidate your existence, and will pretty much never be held accountable for anything that they do. Now, I've had many experiences with this. Recently, one is unfortunately, somebody I looked up to when I was younger. Now, this person may have always been dealing with this, but it most definitely has reared its head ever since I, essentially decided that I'm going to set healthy boundaries and respect myself. And since then, it's been nothing but guilt tripping and mind tactics, and at one point I was questioning my sanity. Now that's how you know, that's a big sign. That's how you know that you're being manipulated. When they tell you now, like, you're crazy and you're this and you're that and you're sick and you need help and blah blah blah, but it's never about them. It's never about them in that sense, but it's all about them in every other way. Waking up to long paragraphs of text over stupid shit that is irrelevant, that could have been had in a decent face-to-face conversation. The shift in personality in certain situations, pretending and kind of faking. Doing things to look good, doing things for an image, like helping somebody, doing it for the image so society thinks, oh, what a good person. So they get that gratification, but they're not really a good person, because they don't really gain anything out of it. Another great example is somebody who helps you with something or does you a favor or something like that, and it's not like you don't return the favor, without it needing to be spoken about. But they have the nerve to essentially tell you that, you are an advantage taker and you're this and you're that. And projecting, let's cover that real quick. So, projecting is essentially people that are subconsciously recognizing their own issues, and they put it out into the world. And then by blaming other people with exactly of like by definition, so to speak, of exactly like textbook, not by definition, but textbook of what they are and what personality issues they have. For example, this person has called me a narcissist. This person has called me somebody with some sort of personality disorder. Again, I keep certain things private. It's not like I'm hiding anything, but it's just out of respect for myself and privacy for myself and my friends and other people. But one thing is for sure is I certainly don't deal with any of those things. And I would say we all have the capacity for narcissism because it's a taught thing, except for people with NPD. I feel that is not a taught thing. I feel like that's just, I guess, taught in a way, like when you're a child and you're around people like that. So it's sort of like a mechanism to make them feel good at all costs, even if, and like they cannot, they can take zero criticism, they cannot acknowledge their flaws or work on them. Gaslighting is basically, yeah, just absolutely where somebody makes you out to be the crazy person and it's not them at all. You know, they can't be wrong, they can't be off on something. And it's crazy because the manipulation tactics are very deep. They'll reach a point where their little shadow self on the inside will see, oh, okay, this person understands what's going on. This person is informed and educated. So I'm going to switch my tactics up and approach them in a different way. So then all of a sudden the nice person comes out. But the nice person is not really nice. It's just a facade. And the nice person will say whatever it is you want to hear. So that way they're let off the hook. And then their apologies are hollow, right? There's no actual action to change these things. It's just empty apologies. So I guess that's a little bit of a synopsis. So yeah, I've personally been dealing with these things in my life, and I'm happy to speak on them because these are important things that people should be made aware of. So if you have somebody around you that essentially is, you know, extremely determined to make sure that you're a bad person and try to convince you that you're insane and you're unwell, and you know what you've seen as the truth is not true. It's funny because this could go either way too. Like, this is a double-sided sort of thing. But those that are informed and educated are the ones that are able to understand the difference between themselves and other people and who's actually a narcissist and who's not. So basically, stay safe out there, folks. Honestly, it's a crazy world, and we will continue to try to bring good vibes and just honesty, integrity, straightforwardness, and more importantly than anything, just raw entertainment. And also, you know, just little things like this, which will provide some insight and maybe open your mind to certain understandings. I guess the next topic I wanted to discuss was, well, the facts that surround just positive mental health. You know, we are very pro mental health here on the GorillaSquadCast, and we always will be. So I'd love to hear people's stories. Thanks for listening. Whoever's listening, I would love to hear your stories. Feel free to DM me on Instagram at @TheRealJamesHodson, with underscores in between the words. I would love to hear your stories, and if with your permission, I can keep your name anonymous if you'd like, and I would love to put your stories and read them and describe them on the podcast. That would be a wonderful thing to do, and I would deeply enjoy it for sure. And I hope that it would give people an outlet. And again, you know, if you are in a dangerous situation, emotionally, mentally, physically, of course, seek the proper services. 411. I want to make sure I was right about that. I think it's 411. Anyway, search the resources. They are there. I will do better about informing myself on them in the future. In the meantime, keep yourself mentally armed. Mental protection. Really, you need mental armor in this world. There's a lot of manipulating forces, and if you are an empath, a true empath, or empathetic person in general, or just a decent person, we are all capable of mixed emotions and this and that and reactions and everything else. We're human. No one's perfect. But do you feel like you are being held to an unreasonable standard? Do you feel like nothing is ever enough? Do you feel like, to a certain person, do you feel like you're being convinced that you're insane and you start questioning your sanity and your understanding of your life? Well, then you, my friend, are dealing with a gaslighter. And now, to be fair, not all people that gaslight are aware that they're doing it. And also, not all people that gaslight are narcissists, though they usually do go hand in hand. But there is such a thing as a non-gaslighting narcissist, and then there's also such a thing as a gaslighter that is not a narcissist. Point is, if you can identify these traits and these things and understand that you are valid, you are loved, and not only that, but you are loved by yourself. Think about the good people you do have around you. And sometimes people, you need to make a purge. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is sometimes you need to deeply, if you're younger, this is a lot harder, but when you get older and you can make your own decisions and free yourself from your environment, you can begin to heal whatever trauma you may have endured. Obviously, not everybody endures trauma in their childhood, and that's good. That's not a normal thing to endure trauma. You're not really supposed to. But if you come from a sick environment, and you're beginning to understand that it's a sick environment, maybe you fought back, or maybe you're somebody who tries to kind of people please. Maybe you're a people pleaser. Maybe you just want people to be happy so they don't erupt on you. And you'll do whatever it is to make them, what you believe to be is happy. There are many factors. There are many, many factors. Essentially, sorry, one moment. Essentially, you just got to stay strong, and you got to definitely realize that you are sane, that you are capable, you are loved, and like I said, you also must truly love yourself. You have to love yourself. You have to respect yourself, because that is one of the biggest keys to healing wounds psychologically. There's an inner child, and everybody has one. There's nobody that's exempt, but everybody has an inner child, and the inner child is more simplified, less thought out, and less, I guess, deep in a sense. It's just, your inner child is just a kid, simple, and your inner child understands that if somebody's being mean, like, you keep it very simple, somebody's being mean and it makes you sad, it's not, there's no justification. They are being mean, and they are making you sad. That would be how the inner child understands how the complexities of the adult body and mind are dealing with these situations. And the inner child still feels pretty much everything, unless you learn kind of tactics to protect the inner child. And this is something that I learned, and something that has been a beautiful journey for me. It's been a path of self-respect, enlightenment, positive energy, and positive upward momentum despite many challenges and setbacks, because there is no such thing as a purely linear path in life. There's no straight and narrow, even if you think you're on the straight and narrow, like Walter White. But see how Walter White turned out, right? That's a character study. If you haven't seen Breaking Bad, definitely check that out. It's a great example. You have a chemistry teacher who pretty much is just a family man, and just, he has a past which kind of propels this ego in him, but honestly, he truly went from being a high school chemistry teacher who loves his family to, like, becoming this really still understandable, but this, like, murdering sociopath at the end. Some would say narcissist. I don't know about that one, but I would definitely say just, whatever it is. I'm not a psychologist or a therapist or anything like that. So there's probably a term out there I can't think of right now. But anyway, that's a great example, though. It's like the process and the journey that people go through to become who they are. It's not linear. It really isn't. And you never know where you might end up. Something I will share is in 2019, I had a near-death experience. And I will refrain from certain details and names. But I was heading down the wrong path at that time in my life. Some things were going well, other things were not. I had not yet been to therapy after the crazy childhood that I had. I had just pretty much had like a couple of years of like actually socializing as an adult, so that was a new exciting feeling. There was a lot of partying, a lot of drinking, smoking weed, and there's nothing against either of those things if they're in moderation. And for some people, marijuana is medicinal. But at that time, I was just not prioritizing. It's like a 50-50, but I got into a toxic relationship, and there was all these red flags right from the beginning, and I even knew it then to a degree, and I still went forward with it, and that was a terrible decision. And one thing led to another. Some friendships were destroyed, at least temporarily. Some relationships were destroyed. Family. But my family's been a topic of my family life has been a mixed topic in my world. But essentially, it led to that, and then I did survive, obviously, and just then I had this deeply profound spiritual experience, early 2020. And went into the woods a lot, listened to a lot of ambient music, a lot of Zen music, just began to discover all of that. And this profound, deeply spiritual experience I've had absolutely got me, I learned a lot. Over the years I've learned a lot more, but learned about Buddhism. That introduced me to Buddhism, which completely changed how I view life, and for a positive. Essentially, the core aspect of Buddhism is that it's sort of like none of this is kind of real, and minimalism is important, and the less you have, the more connected with everything you really are in nature. Meditating is so important, which has been adopted in Western society over the last couple of decades, more and more. Point is, just incredible stuff, and I'm very passionate about Buddhism. I would love to go to a temple pretty soon here. I'll probably talk about that. So to wrap it all up, in that topic is I really, really, really felt like I needed to also kind of not only speak about these things to help you, the listener, maybe give you some insight, but also to alleviate it off myself too, because I've been going through that lately. And this one was covert. This is, like I said, somebody that I truly trusted and thought was a guiding force for me. But the truth is, this person was putting a facade on, and I saw the shadow of this person many times. And there was red flags before I even decided to connect with this person again. So I should have listened to my gut. Another thing, definitely trust your gut. Like if it says bad immediately before you even can think about it, just don't do it. Say no, whatever it is. Another thing, boundaries and self-respect and self-love. If you love yourself, you'll want to protect yourself from the evils in the world. And if you want to protect yourself, you have to learn the behaviors that you're going to look out for. And you also have to have the confidence and strength, even when you're scared to say something, to put your foot down, stand your ground, and stop the abuse, stop the emotional abuse, stop the physical abuse, stop, just all of it. That is such an important thing. It really is. It's just, wow, yeah, just thinking about all this. That is so important, folks. Please do some researching on narcissism, do some researching on gaslighting, if any of what I've said here you can relate with. Definitely do some research on understanding, learning ways to create boundaries, right? To defend yourself. Because boundaries are like such an important thing. They're like this little invisible line. But the thing is, some people who do like to push boundaries don't even know what the boundaries are until you establish them. And you have to be confident in your demeanor and in what you say, and you need to stick with it, and you can't bend, because they're going to try to poke and try to push. That's what manipulators do. They're going to try to bend the rules, try to do this and get away with this. And if you get, and another great example is you give them, there's an old expression. It's give them an inch and they take a mile. Now, that expression is still very relevant, folks. We don't want to have people taking a mile when we give them an inch, right? So the best idea is to just not give them an inch, period. Set your boundaries strong and show that you have power in yourself. Because at the end of the day, folks, the only thing we have control or power over really is ourselves and what we do. So if you take that power and control and emphasize it on yourself, and gain some strength in yourself, discipline, and just also learn to love yourself. If you've been raised by a toxic environment, you probably don't have very good self-esteem. Just learn to find the way, and there are many ways, but find the way to develop the skills so you can understand how to love yourself and how to respect yourself, folks. So, thank you for listening. I hope this connects with somebody out there. This is James, of course, and, this has been a little tidbit for the GorillaSquadCast. We have 4 or 5 more episodes. I've actually been stretching this season out. We actually have more content. We have actually a decent amount more content. So really, I was thinking that we would be wrapping this up like right about now, but the way it's looking, I'm thinking that we still have 4 or 5 more episodes. So stay tuned, folks. You don't want to miss any of that. So I know today was a little bit more of a divergence from our usual subject matter, where we usually have a lot of fun, or we have a reflective piece, or we have, my name James, we have interviews, we have movie reviews. So I like to make room for these sorts of little things, offshoot sort of things, just to see if it connects with people. And not only that, but the intent is for it to help people. So I would, starting now, I'm going to be, for today's episode, but anytime it's a mental health topic, I will be putting the link to a charity that donates to basically resources that help people with mental illness, people who are in abusive environments, things of that nature. So look in the description and find a way to donate or at least help out in any kind of way you can, because it's a difficult world, folks. It really is, and people need help. People sometimes need a shoulder to cry on. We're going through an economic situation, so of course we want people to be all right. So that'll probably wrap it up for today. Again, this is James, your host of lStryderl's GorillaSquadCast, and I'm looking forward to you guys seeing what we have planned for the rest of the season, and then some big announcements at the end of the season. So, thank you very much. I love you all. I really appreciate your support. The GorillaSquadCast has been growing exponentially, and I'm extremely hyped about that. I really am. That's awesome. This is like a dream come true. Definitely want it to grow a lot more, but considering we've only been doing this for about a year, this is incredible. It really is. So, again, thank you to you. You're all wonderful people. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you have a wonderful day or week. See you next week.